I'm James Brierton. It is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. Welcome to a live edition of Let's Talk Carolina Weather. This is the post-show analysis from this week's weekly show. I'm back with Jared Smith in Charleston and Frank Strand in Columbia, South Carolina. And we've just been sitting here after tonight's live show tracking the potential for severe weather in the Carolinas. And guys, in the last few moments, the National Weather Service going ahead and pulling the trigger on a severe thunderstorm warning. I interrupted your flow. You guys were already doing this, and then I said I got to roll a countdown clock. So I'm going to stop talking. Take it away.
Let's share some radar screens, Jared.
Yeah, let's do it. That's a good one, man.
First, let's zoom in real tight on this one. This is the Columbia weather radar site here, the Columbia NexRad. And that is 73 dBz, where I have my cursor there, on this supercell thunderstorm that's moving through southern Orangeburg County and about to push through parts of Calhoun County and eventually into Clarendon County. That high reflectivity we see there is caused by hail, and potentially big hail, 1 inch or larger. Now, if you're traveling, those traveling on I-26 have already kind of gone through that. That cell's almost a completely cleared I-26 moving away to the northeast. And as you can see, James has a camera, one of SCDOT's cameras in the area, showing traffic moving kind of slow and pretty intense downpour there with this cell as it moves northeastward across the interstate. As I said, it's a supercell thunderstorm, but I don't think there's much tornado risk. There's just not a lot of shear at the low levels. The shear is kind of above the low layers of the atmosphere, so I don't think we're going to get a tornado from it. But gusty winds are certainly a concern, and the biggest concern is that hail, because there is a pretty pronounced hail signature on not only the reflectivity but dual pole data as well. As I switch over to the differential reflectivity product, and where you see these values in gray, where it's negative or close to zero, that is an indication that you have hail. So that, combined with those high reflectivity values, tells me that there's almost certainly hail falling in that area, and there's a strong chance that it is severe hail.
Yeah, and this guy really has been getting going. One of the things that I found interesting about this in particular is that these storms are really not very tall. They are very shallow thunderstorms. If you look at the echotops on these guys, it's peaking. They're not even depending on the calculation you use, they're barely punching through 30,000 feet. That's that upper low.
Yeah, 31,000, right?
Yeah,
it's because your freeze level is fairly low, about 10,000-ish feet. It's kind of falling as that upper level low approaches from the west. So your freezing level is fairly low, and then once you get above that freezing level, the temperatures are dropping rapidly there. The lapse rates are steep once you get up to that level, and that's part of the reason the thunderstorms are going so well. But as is the case with these upper level lows, the top of the troposphere, you run into that at around 30,000 feet, and the storms just kind of, that's as far up as they go. Where when you get to the tropopause, they go up a little bit past that because they have momentum, but you can only go so far into the stratosphere because stratosphere gets warmer as you go up. So that's a very stable layer. That's why they call it stratosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to zoom the radar here for a second and show people what else is happening across the area as we continue to watch this one severe thunderstorm warning, the only warning we have right now in the Carolinas. We are continuing to see other strong thunderstorms with lightning and heavy rain. We have this one, Jared, that's not too far from your neck of the woods. We'll put this into motion here, find out exactly which way this one's moving tonight, because we've had couple storms moving all sorts of directions tonight as we were looking at the storm motion earlier. So this has just crossed over I-95 and is coming towards 26. What are your thoughts? We're gonna probably just scrape north of downtown, kind of outside of
it certainly seems like when I look at it, I'm looking at it on Charleston's radar too. Let me just kind of switching through all sorts of different. I have all sorts of different things that I'm looking at right now, as you can imagine. But yeah, I mean, when I look at that, it certainly looks like a heavy rainmaker, maybe a little bit of hail in that guy. Sub-severe. It is not quite to the proximity of not only the upper low, but also the surface features that are coming alongside the upper low. So, but still, I mean, you can definitely see where some of the wind shear is happening there. You can definitely see there's maybe a little bit of a protrusion with the Boeing segment there. Certainly some lightning. A lot of you, this might be your first real good thunderstorm of the year. So
happy March.
Yeah, exactly. And just getting a look at some of the parameters here. Unfortunately, I can't really readily show you all the panels that I'm looking at here without like a major fight with my machine. But certainly, there's decent instability. There's still decent mixed layer instability to work with here. And again, we don't have to get these storms very tall. They don't have to be very tall at all. 25, 30,000 feet is going to do it with the hail growth being so close to the surface. And that's why hail is the main concern. It's very rare in South Carolina to see, 2% tornado, 5% wind, but the slight risk being driven by 15% hail. And we're still in that slight risk tonight.
Yeah, let me show people that. I've got it up here on my screen now. And if I take myself full, we can see where that slight risk tier 2 out of 5 threat is. It mainly is south of Columbia, Charleston coast, just shy of that Savannah, Georgia metro area. And exactly what you just described. The threat is for that hail, 15% chance of seeing hail along that same area, lesser amounts, 5% as we make our way up through portions of the Midlands, the Sandhills, even towards Wilmington, North Carolina. Doesn't really come into the Charlotte area. It doesn't come into the GSP area. But again, the tornado risk, 2% or below in only really that slight area we were talking about, and a 5% chance of damaging winds. We do get a break for the most part tomorrow on the day 2 outlook, but then come day 3 on Friday, about half of the Carolinas, both north and south, in a marginal risk on day 3. And so we'll watch for the possibility that, again, we could be once again kind of just staying weather aware. It is that time of year, isn't it, guys?
And I want to call out, too, on that one, that could be a nighttime thing.
Which Friday nights?
Friday night, Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Especially closer to the coast. The further east you are, the more likely that's going to be a nighttime thing. So something to watch out for.
Spectrum, thanks for watching here on YouTube.
Severe weather.
No, we don't. We don't. And, we were just talking about this actually as weather nerds a moment ago before we came on. And since we're in this let's talk kind of casual format, I'll share to folks, we have weather radios. We all have weather radios that wake up us and our families in our local area. Highly recommend you get one if you don't have one at home. But we were like, we need, as the Carolina Weather Group, some sort of reverse phone call system that alerts us in the middle of the night when we're trying to sleep to severe weather happening across the whole area, as we try to provide services such as this one that Spectrum on YouTube is watching tonight. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us here at the Carolina Weather Group. We have just the one warning for that severe thunderstorm. We were watching a few more. We do have, again, Edgefield coming out of Aiken along I-20, 26, 20.
Yeah, it's 20 out there.
That's 20, right? It's 10:30. Okay. But just a
past
strong,
everybody's bedtime already.
past everyone's bedtime. You know what? It's that time change, guys. My brain is also, I was driving home today talking to Jared on the phone at 7:15, and I could have sworn it was like 4:15 in my brain. I'm neither here or there.
It was really weird having a phone call with James with daylight.
It was weird.
It doesn't happen often.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good looking storm. I'm kind of taking a peek at the surface here real quick. It looks like there's a the low, as I undo my unintentional marks, looks like it is around. Yeah, it looks like the surface low is actually right. It looks like it's riding the surface low.
Which one are you talking about?
The Orangeburg storm might be
the Orangeburg storm itself.
Very close to the surface low, based off of it's 1013 millibars at Orangeburg. So I actually might. looking
Yeah,
at
you want.
looking at my iPad here. I'm looking at
I know you. I know where you're going. I'm going to give you
yeah.
a second to get set up. I know I can feel it. What I want to do, and Frank, cut me off if I'm dominating, is I want to show the storm reports from earlier. We showed this on tonight's live show. But here are the storm reports we have received verified by the National Weather Service. So many of these coming to us from you, the citizen weather observers, and you can just see the hail that has been observed across the Carolinas today. Mostly a South Carolina event, at least with the hail in particular. But 3/4 inch size hail down here near Allendale. Augusta's had a couple run-ins today with hail the size of 1.25 inches, maybe a little bit more in places, kind of dime size hail here a little bit further north back on the South Carolina side near Murphy's Estate. A little south and east of Anderson in Hickory Tavern, we had 1/2 inch size hail. And we had a picture from our Tim Pounds, a producer here at the Carolina Weather Group. He was in Martinez and the Augusta area about 7:15 this evening and sent us this picture of dime-sized hail there along Riverwatch Parkway. And so happy spring to everyone who is running into these strong to severe thunderstorms. Tim just completed the basic storm spotter training with us last Thursday and was very proud of himself to send in a storm report with time, location, photo, and all that jazz to the National Weather Service. Go, Tim. There's still time.
Yay, Tim.
It's still time for others to get
Tim
trained. Tuesday, March 29th.
Producer of our music stuff, right?
Yeah, so Tim does the panelist playlists. If you listen to the Carolina Weather Group on Spotify, we get to play music, and he interviewed each one of us. And it was lots of fun to get to know each and every one of us a little bit more outside of what we do here at the show. So you can find those on Spotify if that's the place that you listen to audio podcasts. Frank, what do you got here? I see your screen shares up.
Yeah. We're going to really geek out for a minute here. Okay, so I talked a few minutes ago about how the freezing level is around 10,000 feet. I talked about how it's still fairly warm at the surface. Most places are in the 60s and have only come down maybe a couple of degrees from the highs this afternoon. Well, let's look a little bit higher. This is the 500 millibar chart right now from the SPC mesoanalysis page. 500 millibars is about 18,500 feet. So this, what I'm looking at here, well, there's the center of the upper low in the height contours here. But what I'm really paying closer attention to are the isotherms at this level. This is in Celsius. The middle of this is minus 20 Celsius, which is about 4 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. And there's minus 19, minus 18, minus 17, minus 16. So where these storms are right here, it's about minus 17 degrees Celsius, which is just ever so slightly above 0 Fahrenheit. So if we're at roughly freezing at 10,000 feet, and then here at 18,500 feet, we're close to 0, you can have storm updrafts that pretty easily take liquid up to temperatures well below freezing. And that's how you're making hailstones, because that liquid water, it hits snowflakes, graupel, other hailstones that are being suspended by updrafts at that level, and that's how you grow hail. And that's why we have concern for large hail happening with that storm in Orangeburg County right now, moving into Calhoun County. And that's one of the reasons why we have that severe thunderstorm warning out, is because the lapse rates, once you get that high in the atmosphere, are very steep, and it's very cold aloft, and freezing levels relatively low at about 10,000 feet. So the hail forms, and it can get fairly big because liquid water is being propelled by updrafts. It's well below freezing. So then you make hailstones, and then they only have to fall through about 10,000 feet of atmosphere where it's above freezing to get to the ground.
I feel like grapple is the most underrated of the precip types.
Grapple is fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you don't see a whole lot of in South Carolina. Having spent 20 years up north, I saw a lot of it, but you don't see a whole lot of it down here, but it does happen. And grapple, by the way, some people call that a snow pellet. The way you get that to form is first you make a snowflake, however that happens in the atmosphere, but
so the mommy snowflake and a daddy snowflake.
That's right. You have all kinds of snowflakes. You have, well, not mommy and daddy snowflakes, but you have ice needles. You have dendrites, you have columns, you have plates, all kinds of different kinds of snowflakes. Even in English, we have several words for snow. Like the Eskimos have over 100, but we have maybe 5 to 10 to describe the types of snowflakes. But anyway, take those, and then those snowflakes, as they fall, they might fall through a layer that's what we call supersaturated in the atmosphere, where you have liquid water coming out of the atmosphere with the relative humidity above 100%, and so you'll get that liquid water sticking to those snowflakes and developing rime ice on the snowflake, and that makes grapple when you have rhyming on snowflakes.
I feel like there's a joke in there about rhyming, but I will just let it lie.
I'm
But
no
they're
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I tried one time when I was on the radio down in South Texas, saying there was rizzle and drizzle up and down the Vizzle, talking about the Lower Rio Grande Valley. Pretty bad.
You're no Nick Koser.
No, I'm not either.
I'm gonna highlight I-26, which is on the back end of this polygon. The hail has now passed I-26 as it continues to move to the north and east. So it is still raining. I'm sure visibility is still a problem on I-26, but the hail associated with this severe thunderstorm has now passed. That's in the bottom left panel for you. Coming up now is art class with Jared Smith. Jared, what are you drawing?
I'm drawing isobars, areas of equal pressure, and somehow I accidentally deleted the 2 and 12, so we're going to fix that. But basically, what I'm doing here is I just got a plot of the kind of old observations at this point, but it's the only complete plot I have. So, trying to find, hey, where's the front? Where's the low? Where are all those things? And so right now I'm just doing a little bit of just no pressure, but a lot of pressure because I'm plotting pressure. And let me just do a little 14 there.
The puns in here are awful tonight.
Yeah, no.
Now I want to play a Queen song.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that. I can put the lo-fi beats back on if you want.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Danger.
This is our behind the scenes weather talk. It will change on a dime if the severe situation were to intensify. But until then, this is our behind the scenes severe weather storm tracking on a Wednesday night with pals.
Yep. So I tend to do this at least once a day with a larger map with more of the southeast. Just to what this does.
Okay, it's the Carolina weather group. You want to just do the Carolinas? I won't tell anybody.
Yeah. Well, it's good to, but we got to know what's coming.
That's right. Fair.
So that's why I do the whole southeast. But in situations like this where we're kind of dealing with more of a localized situation, it helps to have a greater density of stations. So I just use my iPad and I use my pencil and take a printout, take a PDF, put it into Procreate. I actually made my own brushes for this. I need to put those up for download actually, because I know I'm not the only one who does this. Just use an app called Procreate. Most people make pretty pictures and stuff. I draw isobars.
My wife was very excited when I asked her the other day about this app because she uses it and then was very intrigued that I was asking about it. I was like, I want to play weather connect the dots like Jared does.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what it is.
Apple pencils come in handy when you need to analyze weather maps.
It is phenomenal. I'll tell you what. It's why I got it. I mean, it's it's like because my mother is the artist in the family by every measure. I tried to pretend when I was younger. It did not work out too well. So it's like, oh, you got an Apple Pencil. You gonna draw? Absolutely not. I'm gonna contour isobars here with friends.
I just rely on the SPC site to analyze stuff. I used to do things by hand all the time, but eventually I got to the point where I figured I just don't have time to do this, and then all the things that have to get done.
Yeah.
So I just rely on this page and hope that it's right and not out of touch, which is not, rarely out of touch. Sometimes it's got old data, but
as Jared's drawing real time, I'll show this tweet from Brad Panovich, our friend at WCNC in Charlotte. the upper low and pocket of cold air moving over the Charlotte area around 6 a.m. or so, according to his Futurecast analysis. And you can see on the Futurecast radar version of it, that should put some of the heaviest of thunderstorms to the east and the south of Charlotte. So if you're like me and you're watching from Charlotte, non-zero chance that I could get a nice pocket of rain overnight, but it looks like Southern Pines, Albemarle, Wadesboro, Rockingham, that's probably more the cup of tea during the overnight hours for North Carolina. For South Carolina, it's what Frank's got up on the screen. If I can switch back over to it, it's what we're watching right now as we come up on 10:45. Watching the severe thunderstorm. They cut the polygon back, I take it, Frank.
Yes, they've trimmed it a little bit as the storm's tracking its way to the northeast here. It's roughly over South Carolina Highway 6 in Calhoun and Orangeburg counties. So the severe thunderstorm warning continues in the polygon, the ugly orange polygon there, and remains in effect until, was it 11 o'clock when it expires? Is that right? Yeah, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Still some hail likely going on with the storm between Lone Star and Ellery right now. It's tracking off to the northeast, so Remini, it's going to get close to there. Remini, site of our state record snowfall, by the way, from the '73 storm. We had 2 feet of snow there back in the day. Anyway, I digress. The storm also is producing some pretty intense rainfall rates too. So if you're driving around out there, you're going to have to be real careful and slow it down, because the visibility is going to be reduced. In addition to that risk for hail and the potentials there for some standing water or poor drainage flooding in some of those areas, thanks to this really heavy rainfall.
Thank you for that update. Jared, how's your picture?
Well, a couple things we can kind of...
Is that shrimp at the bottom?
Sure.
Thumb?
It's a shrimp
thumb.
of low pressure.
Yep.
That's the technical term. But you can see that...
Shrimp and grits is better.
True. Yeah. Well, we'll get into the nitty gritty of the shrimp here in a little bit, but yeah, it looks like because I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and station, I want to say that this is the downtown or somewhere near the harbor. We had a 1011.16. So these numbers, you put a 10 in front of if it begins with a 1, you put a 10 in front of it, or a 1 or larger. If it is 999 or lower, that is the actual readout. So
right, the first digit or 2 is truncated.
Exactly.
So numbers 0 and up are usually you'd add a 10 in front of it, and if the first digit's 9 or less, you'd normally add a 9 in front of it to get the pressure in millibars, although in very rare occasions when hurricanes are hitting, it's possible for a sub 900 millibar pressure, but it has to be a really strong hurricane to do that.
Yeah, if you manage to plot a sub 900 millibar pressure on, if you manage to have a station survive that and be able to get that out, that's impressive.
Yes, it is.
that's impressive.
Mark Sudduth could do it.
He could. You're right. If anybody can do it, it's him.
If anybody could do it, it'd be Mark.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So anyway, just looking at my, the pressure gets higher as you get further to the northeast, which you would expect. You have the low pressure moving across Georgia into South Carolina. There have been a couple areas, small areas of low pressure that have been analyzed on this. So looking at this right now, it looks like we have a new special weather statement actually that's come out for Charleston, Berkeley, Dorchester counties. So they have put a special weather statement on the storm that is entering the Charleston metro. And taking a look at the radar there, I'll switch my NDI to show my radar here. Let's do that. And you can see that we're starting to see maybe this core begin to tick up a little bit. I'm going to put my iPad away for a minute and take a look at this bad boy right here. Tilt up some. Yeah, there's some pretty decent reflectivity, about 65 dBz or so. We use the Max Hail product, and it gets us to, that's nickel size, roughly close to nickel size there.
Check out the V. We got a little bookend vortex, it looks like.
Yeah.
On the north side of it.
Yeah,
into
and
that.
it is rotating. So not necessarily tornadic. Not necessarily tornadic, but it is rotating. Probably won't get that rotation to the surface, but again, the wind shear is such and the positioning is such that rotation is really, it's weak, but it is correlated very nicely.
It's legit. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, you may have some gusty winds at the leading edge of this. It looks like there's a little bit of you can see that very sharp usually a good tell for strong winds is when you see this really tight gradient between very little reflectivity and a whole lot of reflectivity. That is usually a really good tell that there's some strong winds blowing out of that guy. So that's what we're that's what we're seeing there. And
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, but I don't think we have any cameras that face that direction.
Yes,
probably
we
are some
do.
along 26 and 526 down there, but a little too far away, I think, at this point. We'll have to wait till it gets a
ETV
little
Charleston
closer.
weather stem will be worth watching. It may be a little too far to the south, but it will probably, at least for the next little bit, get some lightning.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I couldn't remember which direction that was looking.
Yeah, it's looking west, so that's usually a really good sunset cam.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's going to be this one, the one that just went blank on me. There it is.
Yeah, and again, we're going to have some lightning. We're going to have some thunder, if nothing else, which is kind of fun. So again, we've got, if we're thinking about where low pressure might be living, it looks like it could be on just some of the observations that I have in the radar software a little bit more up to date. And I've got a whole lot of mesonet stations in here too, some of which give you pressure and some of which do not. But yeah, it definitely looks like that these are being driven in part by the surface low that is increasingly nearby. I mean, this is a pretty good looking storm. I mean, it looks like it's that's a, I mean, that is a B-weir. I mean, that, right. I mean, that's a bounded weak ecoregion right there. I mean, that
sure is. Little bit of a Boeing structure there too.
Yeah, I'm gonna
velocity's peaking at about 4 knots.
Look at that,
like 45 miles an hour. There's 42 knots in there.
Yep.
Scanning. Oh, there's one that's 45. 1 pixel anyway.
Yep. And you got, and taking a look at the cross section here, like you've got solid 50 plus dBz reflectivity right in the middle of this hail growth zone, which is roughly between 10 and 20,000 feet. So there's your freezing level. There's your -20 level in red. It probably is going to be difficult to see, but there's there's certainly something up there. And if we switch it to ZDR, go back and forth, that high reflectivity, very low ZDR, very round, very evenly shaped.
Go back to that ZDR for a second and zoom in.
Yeah. Notice
where you have some of those positive values. See your two lines there. There's one that's at about 10,000, one that's 20,000. The one that's lower is your 0 degrees Celsius line. That's your freeze level. The second one that's around 20,000 feet is your -20 level. So that's -4 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Now, when you have those strongly positive ZDR values above the freezing level, that tells you that you're seeing liquid water there. You're seeing raindrops because they're kind of flattish. As they fall or are suspended by an updraft, they still flatten out that way too. So that gives you some stronger. So what you're seeing there is what we call a ZDR column, and it's an indication that you have liquid water occurring above the freezing level. So that's how you grow hailstones, is you bring liquid raindrops up to that level. When they bounce into other hydrometeors, rain, snow, other hailstones, graupel, whatever. That's how you freeze them, and you can see there's some hints of that liquid water almost up to that -20 Celsius layer. So you have liquid water showing up on radar almost to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, pushed up that high by an updraft.
Yeah, and you can see the reflectivity. I mean, that is a little overshooting top here too. It's a very tiny little overshooting top.
Yeah,
Very
about that.
faint. Yeah. So you got
Yeah,
that again.
it
That's
shows you got a pretty intense updraft up to
that
40,000 feet.
yeah. That updraft is really it's really punching through. It's one of the stronger updrafts we've seen today. It would not shock me if these trends continue. I would not be shocked to see a warning come out on this guy. If things continue to go the way they are, again, that max hail is starting to we're starting to get really close to an inch on that estimated product. And again, we might have a shelf cloud from this bad boy. We do have a shelf cloud from this bad boy. I'm taking this guy full. Yeah, there you go.
There you are, right on cue, my friend.
Yeah, you got a nice shelf cloud showing up right now on the weather stand camera.
There. Yeah, and the velocity looks pretty good. It's it's 2,400 feet where the radar beam is there, but you've got some 45-ish mile an hour winds up to maybe 50. That, by the way, that little Boeing structure is going to pass close to the airport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's going to
we might get some decent velocity or wind speeds there at KCHS. In 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I took a screenshot of this straight out of the thing. Because why
don't you go tweet that? Send people over to the YouTube channel.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're doing. I definitely want to get people over here. It is let me see. Oh, and I can't move that. And is that no, that is not for us.
Not only tweet it.
Copy link.
We could make there you go. We could spin up a YouTube clip. If anybody's watching, YouTube gives you the ability now to clip things that you're watching. So if somebody wants to make us a YouTube clip, you'll be my #1 fan for tonight. We'll continue to watch this. This is a WeatherStem camera out of Charleston on the South Carolina Educational Television transmitter there in the West Ashley area, if I'm not mistaken. We're watching this shelf cloud associated with a thunderstorm that is not currently warned, but is garnering our attention. And that is what we are watching right now. If you are joining us at 10:53, this is the voice of James Brierton in Charlotte, North Carolina. Guys, don't forget to tag the WeatherStem camera too, as you guys are firing off some of those tweets. I can get you the handle if you need. And we got Jared Smith.
Melissa too.
Perfect. We got Jared Smith in Charleston, and we got Frank in Columbia, because you have to be in a city that starts with a C name in order to be on this stream. And we are watching. We only have one warning right now in the Carolinas, and it's not actually even on the storm that we are looking at. It's a severe thunderstorm warning just near Cameron and Somerton, and this is goes until 6 more minutes for a storm moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. It was located about 13 miles east of Brookdale. The threat, quarter-size hail. That's the name of the game tonight, is hail. As we are continuing to hang out with you here on the Carolina Weather Group YouTube channel, talking Let's Talk Carolina Weather. And we are just nerding out with you, continuing to watch what's happening on radar, skycams, and the like. So I'll bring the guys back in here, and we'll keep an eye on what the Weather Service is pinging out tonight.
Yep, we're gonna watch that again. Again, we're at a little bit more of a traditionally stable type of day, and we may have some problems getting the worst of the wind gusts to the surface. But yes, this is I think you know what, I think the core of this guy is going to go north of me.
Because you're near the camera we were just referring to.
Yeah, I'm
Let me take you full.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. So this is where. Do you have my?
You're full.
Yeah, my radar's full. This is where there's a weather station there too. This is where the camera is.
Sure, it's a WeatherStem station.
Yep. So, yeah. So I'm getting that data. I'm getting that data here in Analyst here. So there's the WeatherStem station right there. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. It's looking roughly into that. So it sees that shelf cloud. The better chance of seeing any hail is going to be up on I-26 webcams.
Got it. Copy that.
Hanahan, Goose Creek, Somerville. There is some rotation in this, but I don't think it's going to be it's not the kind of rotation that necessarily has us concerned that it's going to head to the ground. So certainly something that we're going to want to keep an eye on over the next little bit. But again, I think the main concern right now, penny size hail. This is from the Weather Service. Penny size hail, gusty winds, 45, 50 miles an hour. So, and really, first good thunderstorm of the year. I think that's
Yeah.
Let's embrace a little bit of nerdery here, and just relish the fact that we're getting a nighttime thunderstorm, and hopefully it does not get any worse.
Speaking of nerdery, if you can put your face in the corner, we'd love to see you again.
Yeah, so on this, I'm unfortunately I've got a different output running, so I can show all the windows without doing a bunch of OBS magic over here. So
okay, I got you.
I gotta.
Frank, what's got your attention here? We got your screen up.
Yeah, I'm just analyzing everything with this cell that's approaching northern Charleston County right now, and I noticed the wind. Oh, no, that's the wind. Here's the base velocity, and there's still some of these orange pixels that you see here are 30 plus knots, so that's 44, 45 miles an hour roughly. Now that's up above the surface. The radar beams at 2,600 feet where the storm is right now. Nonetheless, that's an arcing, bowing kind of structure there. So that is something that we usually associate with potential for stronger winds. So that is an area where if there are going to be strong winds, that's probably where it's going to happen with the potential gusts to 45, maybe 50 miles an hour in some places. Looking a little north along, let's see, what highway is that off to the north? That's not my most familiar. That's 17 that goes through Somerville, right?
17A.
And, Cottageville there.
Yeah.
Right, 17A.
Yep.
Okay, so there's, as Jared mentioned a little while ago, there's a little bit of a spin there, a little bit of rotation. Radar units back here, the antenna's back there. That's KCLX. That's where the radar antenna is here. So we're looking at things in the brighter colors moving away from the radar and the green stuff moving toward it. So that means we have that right next to each other along the radial. So that means we have a rotation there. So there's spin, but I don't think it's a tornado risk, but that does tend to strengthen your updraft in that area a little bit, having that rotation there. So that's the area we have to watch for some hail because your updrafts, again, go up the freezing layer further there. Whoops, zoomed in too tight. So, and that's why I think, have these higher reflectivity values here, 60 dBz plus, because it's probably seeing some hail. Flip over to the ZDR, or the differential reflectivity, and there are a few of the, one anyway, gray pixel here that is probably picking up on some hail. It's co-located with reflectivity 50 plus dBz, so almost certainly some hail in that. May not quite be severe hail, but it certainly is a robust storm. It's certainly not one that you want to get caught out in, even if it's you want to be indoors. There, and in addition to the rain risk or the hail risk, again, probably subsevere at this point, and wind risk also probably subsevere, but some pretty intense downpours are coming into Somerville, Lincolnville, Ladson, and that area along I-26. So that's an area where you want to be careful if you have to travel, although I would recommend that you not travel by car through that area. Delay your travel if you can, because again, this is not a storm you want to get caught out in.
And I will remind folks, as we come up to the 11 o'clock hour, we only have one warning right now in South Carolina. And as we anticipate the possibility,
got a new warning.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's one.
Yeah, they just issued a new warning, didn't they, for that cell up in Clarendon County? If I could get the Columbia radar on there.
As we continue to watch the Charleston area, which is what Frank and Jared have been pointing out, I just wanted to point out that the polygon to the north of there has now been extended to include portions of the I-95 corridor, and this goes until 11:45 tonight. If you're watching on our Carolina Weather Net, it's streaming for you at the bottom of the screen, as it is for all viewers right now. But if you like that sexy ticker, then go check out the Carolina Weather Net. It'll be parked there for you as I squeeze myself back on down.
We're very proud of that ticker.
We're very proud of that ticker.
Yes, we are. The cell further north, that is actually...
Red,
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The cell further north up in Calhoun and Clarendon County, that is actually a new severe thunderstorm warning there. That's in effect until 11:45. Cell currently close to Rimini. It's heading northeastward, so Pinewood, Paxville, roughly areas along the Clarendon-Sumter County line. I think that's where the worst of it looks like it's going to go there, and southeastward into Clarendon County. Main concern there is still hail. Some gusty winds can occur, although the wind concern, it's probably sub-severe. While there is some rotation, I don't think there is a tornado risk here. Again, the rotation's mostly well above the ground and not attempting to extend to the surface in this area. But hail is a concern with that storm. So if you're traveling on some of the back roads there in Clarendon and southern Sumter County, you'll want to watch out for some intense downpours and some hail that could be an inch or larger. And that's also going to eventually cross US 15 there in the Paxville area, State Route 261 between Pinewood and Paxville, heading that way. So, folks, if you're in that area, you're going to get a pretty good storm, and it'd be best to be at home and indoors as that storm passes through.
And we have another camera that'll come close to from WeatherStem in Sumter, and you can see we got the clouds. We got some lightning off in the distance in the last few moments as we continue to watch this camera, which is actually in downtown Sumter. So just on the edge of the polygon, but close enough that with all those urban lights, we can get actually a pretty good view of that cloud deck, which is nice perspective tonight as we are continuing to watch here. Storms roll through the Carolinas at the 11 o'clock hour. Jared Smith's doing some 3D rendering.
Yeah, why not? You know, this is so what I've done here is, so this is a 3D cross section of our Charleston storm, and you can see it doesn't do the pixel sampling on this view, but what I've done is I've isolated the 50 plus dBz higher reflectivities out of this guy, and you can see it kind of suspended up in air. I think that's so it's like what goes up must come down, and this we've had some pretty high reflectivities to this point. Suspended aloft. So it is very possible that we may start to see some hail as this, as the updraft empties out over parts of the Charleston metro area in the next 30 to 60 minutes. So certainly something to watch. Again, nothing there that screams severe thunderstorm at this point, but it certainly is, it certainly has been, an interesting thing to watch. To put it mildly. So yeah, it's about an inch or so, max hail size. Again, that's a radar estimation. That's not something that the Weather Service is using to necessarily issue warnings. But the other part of this too is that you see this Boeing segment right here, and you see that looks like a little rear inflow jet trying to get going. Let me see. Let me tilt up a little bit. It might be and sometimes you can get a descending layer of cold air that punches into the back of the thunderstorm. That's called a rear inflow jet, and you can get some decent wind gusts out of that guy. And it looks like and one of the signs of that is you have a little bit of a loss of reflectivity, that little notch here with a little bow at the end. And as we tilt up, we can see that there's still plenty of wind aloft there. The radar winds are maybe not as impressive as they were. Keep in mind, as we go further to the east, we are also getting further away from the radar site. So we're not seeing as much towards the ground either. So that's another thing to keep in mind. We're looking at about 3,000 feet up right here. But yeah, it definitely looks like we've got maybe a little something punching in, and again, that will help enhance the updraft. If you're in Ladson and Somerville and Goose Creek, and in the old Mount Holly area, you may be hearing some hail here not too long, next 15-20 minutes. We'd love your reports. You can MPing reports of hail. You can tweet us reports of hail, and if you do observe hail, a measurement to the nearest coin usually is a really good way to get us that size, so we can pass that along to the National Weather Service so they know what the heck is going on the ground. Because as if you were here for our spotter training,
which we hope you
were, that is the most important thing, is ground truth. So we're going to keep an eye out for reports, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to just keep poking around at this guy.
I'm going to move us back north for a moment. This is now I-95. This is the other storm we were watching. And I primarily wanted to point this out because this is near Somerton.
Mhm.
And I think we're about to see this change on a dime. And I wanted to show the before picture as we adhere to expecting the after picture. Now, this is on I-95, and as Jared is showing us, the hail potential is going to be out of view of the camera and just to the west of I-95. But I was thinking, looking at some of the radar velocities, that we could begin to see these trees dance around here in the
Yeah.
next few minutes near exit 108.
Yeah, I'll caution you, looking from the Charleston radar, there might be a little bit of side lobe contamination. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that. Just know that sometimes
Okay.
you can get contaminated velocity data at the edges of lower reflectivity. It's a long
That's fair.
story, but but that's why we have the cameras up so we can watch it. Again, that is not snow on the camera. That is rain. It's a high. The shutter is wide open for a reason. Sometimes, sometimes people get confused. It happens. But
Well, it was like 30 degrees last weekend.
yeah, I mean, it's March. Wonderful March weather that we're having here. It certainly seems to be bearing out. But yeah, that's a pretty good
We'll
looking
watch it.
hail core there at 5,500 feet. Slice and dice this bad boy. Yeah, look at that guy. Again, really shallow storms tonight because the upper low is cooling things so rapidly. I have another display up here that shows the lapse rates, and of course it's not oh yeah, no, there it is. Is a 7 degrees Celsius lapse rate in the hail growth zone. It's pretty good. That's for around here, that's pretty good. And you can see we have almost 70 dBz coming off of Charleston out of this bad boy. So this hail core is going to dump. You can see, and you can kind of see how it evolves here. You can see suspended there, and then boom, it's starting to reach the ground there. Frank, I think you're muted.
Yes, I'm muted. I'm trying to talk while muted. Somebody has to be Scotty when Scotty's not here.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, you're right. And it looks like that cell's cycling up a little bit once again. Looking at the Columbia radar, the area of 60 plus dBz has increased, I think, at least on the lowest scan level. So that's interesting. And I'm looking at that one in 3D as well. And there you have it. If James would put my screen share up.
Sorry, I was
there you
turning
go.
our podcast.
Yeah. But anyway, there you go. This
Yeah.
is the 3D view of this. Now I've kind of grayed out everything below about 30 dBz, and then the 40s are yellow, the 50s are red, and then the purple is 60 plus. So there's a nice chunk of 60 dBz plus that's not just near the surface but aloft with this storm. This is looking at it from the south. They got Manning to the east and Sumter off to the north here. And I go back in time, you can see there it was close to the surface, but there it looks like we're getting a redevelopment aloft in the next to last scan, and then you see it falling down again, gravity taking over there on this last scan, and it getting closer to the ground again. So it looks like we're making hail and then dumping it in cycles here.
I just let me take a video full here. Oh goodness, there's lots of noise on it too. But anyway, let me share something real quick with you guys. Just got a video in from Somerville. If it will let me share, it looks like it's not going to let me share that video specifically. But I just got a report of hail in Somerville, and I just got a video of it. Which let me
believe it.
Yeah,
looks good for hail, Somerville to Lincolnville to Ladson right now.
Yeah, looking really good, and kind of verifying what we were thinking. In some of our past analysis here. So what I'll do is, James, give me a second here. I'm gonna open. I just need to open a tweet in Safari. Yeah,
I got it.
Cool.
I got it. I see it.
Yeah,
Chris, right?
Yeah. This video comes to us from Chris G in Somerville, and you can see the hail bouncing off there. I mean, I would say that's a little bit more than pea size at this point. That's in Somerville.
Oh yeah, check that out.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's no, that's I was about to say it looks like it's accumulating on the trunk of the Miata or whatever it is there, but no, that's just some oxidization. We get that down here. We get a lot of it because the sun's so strong. But yeah, that hail. It looks like it's pea-sized, maybe up to dime-sized there.
Yeah,
So
we have a we just got an
we were
LSR in
expecting.
off of Old Trolley Road, just south of Somerville. About it says dime size, but then the LSR says penny size, so not sure what to
Yeah.
believe.
Well, it's probably ranging. The biggest one's probably
Yeah.
penny size, but there
Yeah.
probably aren't many of them that big. Anyway, by the way, that stuff's coming over I-26 there in North Charleston County area and southern Berkeley County, southwestern Berkeley County. So not a good time to be traveling on 26 in that area or 78 either, for that matter. Just ridiculous rainfall rates and blinding downpours as a result, and the hail to go along with it. Not a fun time to travel in that area right now. I recommend against it.
I-26 is scary enough as it is without rain.
Yeah,
especially that stretch.
Charleston traffic is scary enough.
Charleston traffic is scary, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah,
let's see. Where am I going here? I'm going right into Somerville, right, with these cameras.
Somerville. Now? Yeah, you're gonna look around. Try exit.
Really, almost down to Hanahan. There's some strong reflectivity showing up there now.
Yeah, and again, we had that
63 dBz roughly down there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably some hail down the southern end of that cell now too.
And again, yeah, this is where we have an imping report. And again, I'm in this neck of the woods here, just outside of 526. I'm going to miss out on this fun stuff, although I think I'm okay missing out on some of this fun stuff. I'd rather not deal with.
Well, it's been building southward, so I wouldn't rule it out just yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Out.
Wow, that's a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Cats and dogs, and
where is that?
Camera does not. This is mile marker 192, which is just north of the Nixon Parkway exit.
Yeah, that's the new exit there. Yeah, that's 197. Yeah, that's just north of the 17A. I would not be shocked if some of those were hailstones. We may have a hard time saying that, but let's see.
I think we're having a hard time seeing anything.
Yeah. Well, that one, the hail core is south of there. You got a big hail.
Let's go south.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Going south.
It looks like right now,
am I going the right way?
Yeah. If there's going to be hail, it's going to be falling in Crowfield Plantation and Goose Creek right now.
Goose Creek to Mount Holly right now. That's where the hail cores is or is heading toward.
Yeah.
At this point, be there very soon if it's not there already.
Yeah, and Mount. What's up?
No, just I can't see anything except flashing hazards in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's that's what we don't want you to do.
Good. That means people are slowing down like they ought to in this stuff.
Yeah.
This is 40 to 45 mile an hour conditions here. If you have to travel, it'd be better if you didn't.
Yeah, I'm just
wow. Hello, high definition camera.
Mm-hmm.
Rest area, is that too far south?
Oh, that's close. Actually, that
mile marker 203.
That's close. It's closer.
Just a very high fidelity camera.
Yeah, let's keep that for a minute. Let's hang on to that for a minute.
WCBD says officials are working a multi-vehicle crash that left 2 people dead and shut down a portion of Highway 17A in Berkeley County. That's a lot of information. That must have been an earlier crash.
Probably.
As I was reading that out, that was a lot of information to get in real time. So this must be something from earlier, 9 p.m. tonight. So that probably was not weather related since the rain hadn't moved in there yet.
No, I mean, we've had some off and on rain today, but nothing too severe. We just got another report of pea-sized hail in Ladson. So it gives you a general idea of what's falling there right now. We do have a couple impings showing up of hail in the Ladson area. So again, thank you to all of you who are sending impings right now. And again, if the best risk of hail is heading into Goose Creek, um, actually, my old stomping grounds. Yeah, so that's quite a thing there. Heading into Goose Creek. So I'm just,
I'm looking up the rest area on the map here, trying to see. Okay, I see where we are, right where the road kind of by Ladson turns.
yeah, this is right. This is right after the
Oh, if anything, it's hailing just south of there, maybe.
yeah. Oh, lightning. Yeah, so there's your yeah, there,
I'm not sure which way we're looking. I'm not sure if we're looking north or south, east or west.
yep. And keep in mind, I'm stretching out real nice at this point. I'm stretching between two machines here.
We do have a comment from YouTube, and I think, Jared, you do this already, letting Weather Service and
Oh,
Chelsea
yeah.
know about things
Yeah,
we're finding.
yeah, we're definitely we are on that. Yeah, they follow us closely there too, which is really cool. And so a little bit of pea-sized hail to work with there, and it looks like now it's crossing Highway 52. Yeah, I mean, this is headed right towards my old stomping grounds. So Boulder Bluff, Beverly Hills, not that Beverly Hills.
We are losing visibility here on I-26
Uh-huh.
at this
No
rest
Jed
area
Clampett
camera.
in that Beverly Hills, huh?
Yeah, not that Beverly Hills. Yeah.
You know,
and,
guys, this is on the edge of the special weather statement
Mm-hmm.
polygon, so I guess the service is going to have to do something here in a minute to.
Are you reading the tea leaves
downstream? Yeah, I'm trying to read tea leaves here. Try to predict the behavior of other meteorologists, which is the most difficult
Harder
thing I do.
Yeah.
It's my most difficult forecast.
harder than predicting the weather? I do want to give
Yeah.
a shout out to the South Carolina Department of Transportation, because I don't know what fiber they've got this camera on, but it's great.
Can I get that fiber to my house?
This is the clearest picture
That is
I have
beautiful.
ever seen.
Yeah, it is
and it
really
is
good.
11 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Yeah, that is beautiful. So I just heard from my dad. My dad is indeed awake, and he's getting a lot of lightning and thunder right now in his part of Goose Creek. Gave him a heads up on the hail, so maybe we might hear something from there. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go. But yeah, look at that. I mean, that visibility just crashed on us.
I don't want to change cameras. I kind of wanted to keep going south, but also this camera's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the heavy rain and gusty winds. I think it might be harder to make
When the headlights hit the road, look at the waves or the ripple
yeah
of the rain.
Yep.
Right. That's just how
On
good
the
this camera
road.
is.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, you have to have a really good camera to be able to see that at night.
But even just as a weather phenomenon, I don't know if it's just being like the wake of the water being kicked up by passing cars, or if it's the wind. I don't know.
Probably the wind blowing it around, but since we're seeing it in the
Yeah.
headlights.
All right, I'm gonna come away from this camera for a second, but we'll come back. See, this camera is
Wow, that
obviously
looks
in
good.
need of an update, but look at that rain.
It's raining sideways.
Thanks, Ollie.
All right, I'm going back. I guess I should go back to our.
So as much as we love that camera, James, it is already starting to improve there. It's going to be,
Yeah.
I think we're going to be getting away from the road cam network here a little bit. So
Yeah, I was coming back to check on this car in the middle of the road too. I don't know what their situation is. I can't see clear enough. Okay, I'll stop playing with my cameras.
yep. So yeah, this is oh yeah. I mean, so yep. We're probably getting a decent smattering of hail. It looks like maybe based on the radar algorithm, and we'll verify this now by taking a little slicey poo. Certainly it looks like that the hail core may have emptied itself, maybe emptying itself right now on Goose Creek, waiting to see if I get a report from my dad on that.
Just want to hop on.
Yeah, it'd be a 20-minute phone call probably to get that configured. He's not quite set up for the live streaming like I am. Yeah, so but it works out. But I mean that's healthy.
A reminder that the storm we're watching near Charleston is not warned. Not saying it should be. I'm just letting you know in case you're trying to figure out what's what.
Yeah. The hail sizes are certainly not, the updraft is certainly not as strong on the Charleston area storm. It's below severe limits. Severe limits on hail is a quarter size or larger. So we're cutting below that, which is, that's what we want to be doing. I just think it's amazing that we're getting so much hail out of a storm that has like overshooting tops at 30,000 feet. Sorry, I just geek out on upper lows. I don't know what it is about upper lows. You got Evan Fisher loves northwest flows, and I love upper lows. I don't know what it is. It just is what it is.
Everyone's got their flavor of nerd here tonight.
Yeah,
I was geeking out about high fidelity, high bit rate traffic cameras.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's that's a perfectly natural thing to want to do. I mean,
I don't know.
Oh no, it's perfectly acceptable, James. You can do that. It's not the worst thing we've geeked out on the show. So,
I just switched my radar scope back over to Columbia to look at the storm that's actually warned that you're looking at now.
Yeah.
And the way it is being interpreted, it's got like a 90-degree L in radar scope. It's like. This is like being cut across Manning there to the west. So
yeah, that's
unusual.
I mean, that's got a good a little surge. Is that maybe a little rear inflow jet action there? Maybe trying to do
what
it.
It looks like,
thing. Yeah.
So like almost an actual right angle.
Right. Well, that's close to where the rotation is there. It's kind of near Paxville. We're just east of there now, and there's some pretty good rear inflow or rear flank downdraft, one or the other, cutting around the south part, and some good inflow coming in out of the east there. So it still looks pretty impressive, and the tornado risk looks to be minimal, although that looks like a pretty tight circulation there. That's 26 knots and outbound 13 inbound. So
you want to punch up the normalized rotation on that bad boy real quick?
50 knots a shear. There's your normalized rotation there.
Yeah, there's a pixel. There's a 1 pixel.
Yeah, a few actually.
Yeah,
looks pretty good. Let's take a 3D gander at this. There's the latest one. Look at it from above, Sumter to the north, Manning to the east, and we'll zoom in on it and look at it from the side here. So that's that 60 dBz area. You probably have hail. The purple core in the middle there. I'll go up to the previous scans. It looks like hail was dumping earlier, and then now we're manufacturing it again higher up, and it'll probably come down before too much longer, somewhere east of Manning, or west rather of Manning.
Yep. There you go.
Get closer to Manning, we'll get back to those I-95 cameras. See if we can keep an eye on it there. You have a new special weather statement in your Charleston storm.
I'm not surprised.
But not a warning. So I want to drive home to the viewers.
Right. Looks like that's eventually going to UG. Take a little while to get there, but looks like it's on a trajectory to go that way.
It's a live look in Manning as we bounce back to I-95.
And I will say that I have heard from my dad. It hailed there for a minute, pea-sized. Now...
I'm laughing because I was about to read the report out of NWS chat without realizing it was you.
Yeah, that was me. So,
well, there's a new report in chat. It says,
yep, yeah. So he was able to, and he had brief period of hail. Heavy rain now beginning to move out. So again, it's getting through. There's nothing really damaging about this. This is certainly not, the real damaging threat is going to be further north, really closer to where the colder temperatures are aloft, with that upper low, closer to Manning and where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. Still,
and that's what we're looking at here on the screen.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what we're looking at on the screen.
Well,
Manning is in there somewhere, right? I mean,
somewhere over there is Manning. But, to your point about the storm report that your dad sent in, I mean, that's exactly the Weather Service needs to know. Okay, yes, they can verify it's only pea-size hail.
Yeah,
it is not warning criteria. Give them that.
Okay,
confidence.
well, we just got a report of quarter-sized hail in Goose Creek in the chat. So let's find that out real quick.
We did.
Yeah, quarter-sized counts as severe.
Interesting. Let's maybe see if we can run that one down a little bit more. I'm one of the oh boy, I got people yep. Yeah. So yeah, a couple reports of hail in Goose Creek.
Quarter size?
Pea size. So
pea size.
Yeah. The peas.
I see JD in chat here.
Yeah.
In our YouTube chat.
Yeah, and then we have JD in here who has quarter size.
JD, you have a Twitter picture or anything of that?
Yeah, I'd love to see a picture. Yeah. So again, the Weather Service continuing with the special weather statement. Again, it is subsevere. I will also note that taking a peek at the radar here, it looks like that there is a secondary core trying to go up now. And Frank, as we talked about this, it is building southward. There is a secondary core going up around Highway 61, crossing the Ashley River right now into North Charleston. So Dorchester Road.
Camp.
Yeah. So let's tilt up a little bit. It's not much. There's maybe a little. It's negligible, but there certainly is some higher reflectivity showing up. So it would not be surprising if maybe there was some melting hail here. It may be very difficult to tell at night. So definitely not asking people to jump out at me or anything like that. I will say that the wind threat, again, we're getting further and further away from the radar here, looking 4,500 feet. It looks like the next round of Cypress Gardens, that area in Berkeley County, is headed towards Highway 41 in Hugie. So definitely the risk for some small hail and some gusty winds and lightning and heavy rain. Brief period of heavy rain moving in there. Looking forward to seeing you guys' CocoRoz reports. Just saying. That's going to make for some interesting reading tomorrow morning. So
what do you guys make of the velocity readings west of Manning? He says cryptically.
Well, let's look at the velocity from CAE. Oh, look at that nice tight looking circulation there. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Rot. Oh, it looks better than it did a few minutes ago, doesn't it? Yeah.
I thought it was
very interesting.
Improving. Strengthening.
You're seeing that 3,400 feet up though. So
that's fair.
You're not looking at the surface, but yeah, there's some rotation at a fairly low level. One concern with that is that the highest velocity is occurring where you don't have a whole lot of reflectivity. So it may not be the best velocity measurement, especially because, let me zoom out, that velocity is here, and then you have the hail core, and then you have the radar over here. So the precipitation is kind of between where you're getting those velocity readings and the radar, so the radar may not be seeing it all that well. But nonetheless, hey, it does look interesting.
Well,
nothing else. Look at higher tilt, and it doesn't look anywhere near as impressive, even at the next tilt up at 8.8 degrees and 1.2 degrees. Yeah. So
it's like good old fashioned. We love radar, but it has its limitations.
It does. There's a chance that's bogus, but it's interesting. And it's something you have to keep an eye on.
Yep.
It's one of those things that when you first see it, your eyes bulge out like a cartoon characters, and then you start saying, "Well, is it legit?" Maybe it isn't legit, but I got to watch it.
Yep. There's
Going
also,
for a stretch.
well, yeah, I gotta. This is what I get for trying new audio things. Anyway, but something else that's interesting is that there's a little outflow boundary in Hampton, coming through Hampton, and there's some redevelopment on that. It's little tiny little storms. There's a little outflow boundary there. So if you move out to, it's very close to the CLX radar. Actually, you can. I've got it up on mine. You can see the.
Oh, sorry. That's a cue for me to pay attention.
Yeah, a little bit of let's see, pretty subtle.
I wasn't retweeting people or anything. It's fine.
Oh no, you're good, buddy. I'm sorry. I could do it myself. I have the power, but yeah, a little boundary there, a little outflow boundary, and that can help, as we know from the summertime. That can help kick up some additional.
Stuff's trying to light up along it there, so
yeah. So I mean, there you go. Pretty cool. It's fun.
That's what we're doing. We're talking about Carolina weather. We're hanging out.
Exactly.
We would get way
after all,
more.
we are the Carolina Weather Group.
Allegedly.
Our tones will change if particular warnings of particular varieties get issued.
Yeah, but
until then, it's
kind of in some ways celebrating the first storms of the year.
Yeah. We are obviously weather nerds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm peeking at that Charleston storm is not maybe looking quite as impressive as it was crossing 26. But again, that might also be a function of getting a little bit higher up into the cell. Certainly some heavy rain, North Charleston to Hanahan, up to Monk's Corner. Your best hail risk is exiting the Charleston proper, is getting close to Hugie now. Hugie, Schulerville, maybe Ondaw, McClellanville, if this guy holds up. Also seeing a couple showers beginning to get going, maybe a little bit of outflow being dragged by this guy too. A couple more showers now getting going towards the coast.
Speaking of the coast, we had a couple cells, and I just feel like this is worth mentioning for variety's sake, that we're producing marine warnings off of the Wilmington area. It's still kind of ongoing at this point. Mm-hmm. It's due east of Wilmington, the orange colored box there. These are for the possibility of waterspouts offshore. Haven't been any sort of threat to land, but as we're talking about things that are of the offshore variety, wanted to get a little North Carolina in there. So if you're watching from that neck of the woods, we see you as well.
Yep. Cool. And I just got a Twitter report that looks like it was delayed, but yeah, it looks like some nickel-sized hail fell in Crowfield, so we'll relay that along as well.
I love the citizen weather observations. I think that is the name of the game this month in particular, as we just had a podcast conversation earlier this evening about Coco Ross, and we been talking about MPing, and we're talking about these Skywarn spotter training opportunities. Mm-hmm. So lots of ways for you all to get involved as you're watching us here on YouTube live coverage on the Carolina Weather Net as we were talking Carolina weather. I'm James Brierton in Charlotte with Frank Strait in Columbia, Jared Smith in Charleston, South Carolina. We have one warning now at 11:35 for a severe thunderstorm capable of producing, well, hail in particular has been the name of the game tonight, up to quarter size. This is near Manning right now. And it is raining cats and dogs.
Pulling out the actually card.
It's actually raining. It is actually hailing.
Yeah. Well, that storm that's up in Clarendon and Sumter counties, the worst of that, a little to the northwest of Manning along the Sumter-Clarendon line, judging by the radar.
Yes.
Travel between those two cities on 521 is not a good idea at this point, because you're going to get hail dents in your car if you do. So I'd recommend avoiding it till the storm passes by. Once again, we have a storm getting close to the eastern edge of the polygon, as is the case
Yeah.
with this
Well, the
one.
polygon is about to get redrawn on your system. Oh no, I'm sorry. The polygon didn't change, but the text changed.
Right. So
Yes,
at any rate, something's going to have to happen there. There it goes. There goes the update. It sometimes
Yeah.
takes a couple
I
minutes.
saw it in
but,
chat. I figured it was flowing downstream here.
right.
You'll notice the
But either
tag.
way, it's getting close to the finish line for this polygon, both in terms of times and space. So and it still looks pretty good. We have some pretty high reflectivities here along the Sumter and Clarendon line, and I think there's still hail there. Good hail signature in the ZDR2. New scan in, same story. Some near zero ZDR with some high reflectivity, so that's probably more hail. Gut feeling is that the Weather Service is going to have to put out yet another warning downstream from this one soon. So we'll be on the lookout for that.
On this 1135 update, they have included their tornado possible tag, which
so they like the they
like the
tore possible,
rotation.
didn't they? Yes, they did.
I jumped.
Good
on
eye
it
there,
when
James.
Well, it was my ears. It was the NWS making its
Oh yeah, it does that
infamous sound.
Yeah, the live application.
That made me hop a little bit. So yes, I think as we wait to see how they may redraw that, let me get your screen share down for you so you can check out whatever it is you're going to look at there in chat. Yeah, we'll see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
See what they're going to do here.
We got a Kokoraz report of nickel-size hail near Goose Creek. So there you go. So somebody on Kokoraz sent in one of those. If you were watching our show earlier, you can send in.
I still have the lower third for it.
You can send in a significant weather update, and it shows up in the Weather Service's system, and it looks like they got one in there. 2 miles east southeast of College Park, which actually lines up nicely with the social media report I got as well. So very cool to see Kokoraz doing its thing tonight. It's
yeah, if you missed our conversation with Melissa Griffin, South Carolina assistant state climatologist, I'm in the process of uploading it right now to our audio podcast feed, and of course it's all instantly available on our YouTube channel, which you've clearly already found. Don't leave now, but just put it in the watch later.
Yeah, that's Melissa's a great, just fantastic. Let's help her beat Wisconsin, and that will make sense to you once you watch the episode. So watch the episode.
I think that was a tease.
Let's do. And she's great to work with too, so that's another reason to do nice things for Melissa.
Yes, we like Melissa very much. It was nice to have Melissa back on the show. It'd been a minute.
Without her help, my grammar and my weather alerts would be terrible.
Signed up for your weather alerts. I'm looking forward to them. So we mentioned that polygon that we're watching here for the severe thunderstorm warning, and the Weather Service is going to have to make a decision. And what we mean by that is this expires at 11:45. So they've only got 6 minutes. They're on the clock. They're in the hot seat to determine what they plan to do come 11:45, if not sooner. And we'll stick around at least that long to see what they decide to do. And then we'll take it from there.
Yep. We're seeing some looking at the satellite over here, and maybe I can do that over here too. Let me get the water vapor going real quick. Let me just
water vapor satellite.
Yeah.
There we are. Water vapor at your service.
There it is. And it's you can, it looks like there's some drier air starting to punch in from the south a little bit. Looks like we're seeing it looks like this is starting to get a little bit more north and east, where some of this stuff is starting to fire. I mean, we certainly have the surface boundaries as well, but I mean, that's a lumberer there. I mean, this is a big guy. It's a cutoff lows. They what's, as the saying goes, upper low weatherman's woe, right? So that's how it goes. And of course,
there's a small part of you. But there's a small part of Jared that missed all of these storms and is just happy to be back in springtime.
No, it's there's no doubt about it. It's getting pretty dire there for a minute. It was February was rough. There's just nothing going on. January was fun.
Well, after January was busy.
January was
Snow after snow after snow after snow.
Yeah, that was January was something else. But yeah, you can see the core of that upper low right around Macon, and it's and it is moving east northeast. The sky is going to open up into a trough later tomorrow as it gets off the coast. But I mean that's pretty good. Let me see. I can't get 500 temps in this. Oh, Mike Gibson, why? Anyway, it's fine. That's why God invented AWIPs. So I mean, it's still got looks like that these things come and go. These things kind of pulse up and they come and go. But probably be interested to hear what we're hearing from our friends in Hugie here in the next few minutes. Probably going to start to see some hail fall there.
The hail's looking pretty good still.
It's not bad. At least the signatures are there.
Yeah.
And Kokoro's reports coming in. We have I think we're running with I think we have people reporting all over the place tonight, which is awesome. Just want to make sure that we're not getting any dupes. It's yeah.
Well, it does look good on radar, but let's keep in mind we're getting further and further away from the RDA, and the beam gets higher and higher at that range as a result. So the beam's about 55.
You'll have to remind the guy in Charlotte of that.
Yeah, the Charlotte guy's got us beat. I'll tell you what, he's definitely got us beat on that. Yeah,
too soon? Okay,
no, never too soon on that. Looking towards Charleston proper, some heavy rain in the neck area, but nothing really to worry about.
The neck area?
Yeah, the neck of the peninsula. Here's a peninsula. This is the neck.
Oh,
yeah,
I follow now.
Yeah, it's area kind of upper Charleston, North Charleston, call it the neck area, right around I-26. So again,
I think that's where that really a good DOT camera was.
No, that one was further up. That one is
right.
203. That is the College Park exit.
Right.
College Park Latson exit. Yeah.
I'll stay out of the way.
Oh, you're good. No. You're good. Anyway, I'd like to know about. We have a couple of the LSRs coming in. You start to see kind of the hail trails here. Oh! I forgot. I can do this now. Check out the hail trail.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Accumulated hail.
GR Analyst 3, Frank, you got to get on it. It's
right.
So this is a trail of the last however long, depending on how many. I don't know how long this goes. Honestly, it all depends on how much data is loaded into the radar. But this is the max hail size swath basically, and you have a couple spots where it gets maybe to about an inch, kind of half an inch there. You zoom in a little bit, see if it can correlate this with. And again, I'm finding that this is helpful. This is actually super helpful because we can correlate the performance of the max hail algorithm product with the location of these. And I probably hold on a second. Hold on just a cotton picking second. I'm gonna go back to this because I can tell you why that would be kind of sheared off there, and it is because lazy person who was telling Frank about storm motion vectors did not enter one of his own. So that might be
oops.
So let's see if that alters the output.
Hail LSR from College Park.
Yep. So so when you put in the storm motion vector, it recalculates it and you get that there. But I'm also noticing that still it's like, generally speaking, that max hail, we haven't gotten any reports from the southern part of the max hail track, but we have gotten reports from the northern end of it. And so it certainly, this is an interesting study in radar displacement with some of these products that we use. So I thought that was kind of, I thought that was kind of interesting. Oh yeah. And this is the accumulated reflectivity. So there's your and honestly, this is actually doing a better job than the Max Hail product of actually showing where the hail was, right? So this line of these purples are about 60 dBz or higher. And you can see you have a couple reports here around Somerville. You have a report here from Kokoraz from this is a Goose Creek College Park area, nickel size hail, and you can see that correlates pretty nicely actually. So
yeah,
I think we just sold Frank a GR2 Analyst 3 license.
we get a commission on that?
Mike will be expecting a commission. I'll talk to my people.
Yeah.
My people get in touch with your people.
Not the same office, but same point. The National Weather Service in Columbia just tweeting out, if you have experienced hail with this afternoon and evening storms and haven't reported it yet, we would appreciate it if you could tag us in your report and provide a location to the nearest crossroads and lat long, size of the hail similar to a coin, and time in which the hail occurred. So that's the message from Columbia, but I'm sure Charleston would echo that message as they are looking for those storm reports. We have no warnings right now.
Yep, the warnings expired up north.
Yeah,
and not even a statement with that. It has shown a weakening trend, so I guess I can't blame the Weather Service.
They may be replacing a special weather statement too. I mean that
it might be.
Yeah, but
they say it's weakened below severe limits, and they've allowed it to expire.
Yep. Forecaster Elsa, let it go.
Right.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, no,
I found another high definition DOT cam. This one's in that Manning area.
Hey,
I'm liking these. Somebody in Columbia has got a good budget for DOT cameras.
Hey,
and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The South Carolina state government is in a good budget situation right now, so I guess they can afford a good camera or two out there.
I like the cameras.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely encourage if any of my lawmakers are watching, please continue to upgrade the webcam system in the Charleston.
If any of my lawmakers are watching, I would like a radar.
Yeah, that's all right. That might be a little tougher sell.
Much love. Well, we're at 11:47.
Oh my God! Really?
So suddenly we realize how early we have to get up in the morning.
Yep.
We're used to this being 10:47.
This is true. What do we have to look forward to overnight, gentlemen?
Well, this is gonna get out of here. You know, this upper low is gonna lumber along. You know, some additional rain showers, surface features will help clear out some of the stuff at the surface. But, you know, showers and thunderstorms moving into, northeastern South Carolina, moving into North Carolina as the upper low continues its trek across the southeast tonight.
I just remembered I'm in OBS and I actually have a scene with her. I can show it while you're talking. Bloop. So yes, as Jared is pointing out, scattered storms. I think central North Carolina, I-95 corridor.
Yeah.
Fayetteville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even to Raleigh in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Look at that upper level.
Yeah,
low
you can
right?
see a little swirl there with the upper low.
Yeah. Almost looks like it gets stalled for a moment. Those storms just kind of loop to loop.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind too that it's not necessarily the exact discrete storms that's moving there. It's probably redevelopment. It's probably,
Yeah, I just meant more as an animated feature.
Yeah.
And then we'll watch for the possibility of this on Friday.
Yep.
Late on Friday night.
There's nothing I love seeing more late at night than a bunch of discrete cells on the. Yeah, nothing I love more.
Yeah. Well, do we pack it in, boys?
Yeah, I think we pack it in.
I think it's time to go to bed. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
I gotta go clean the kitchen and do the house chores that are the nightly stuff that I put off.
Yeah. If any of my Starbucks baristas are watching tomorrow, it is going to be a venti. So
venti kind of day.
It's going to be a venti kind of day. It's a venti weather alert day. We'll put it that way.
If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can always find the latest weather happenings on our nonstop weather stream. It's called the Carolina Weather Net. It streams on YouTube. So even when we're not live, you can get real-time conditions, sky cams, warnings, and more, alongside the wittiness and the best of our weekly show, the Carolina Weather Group, which airs Wednesdays at 9. That's right. Tonight's a Wednesday. So we have a new episode of that just published. And this was essentially the after show of that. So come on back anytime you want to know the latest on Carolina weather happenings. That is what we are here for. And if you're not already, join us on Coco Ross and Ping, Skywarn. So many ways for you to become a part of the collective, as we've seen again yet here tonight.
Resistance
Frank,
is futile.
Frank, is this the outlook?
Yes,
That's
the Friday outlook. So
Friday outlook.
marginal risk covering a lot of eastern North Carolina, almost all of South Carolina. Again, as Jared mentioned, this is mostly late in the day and into the night, and in some cases late at night. So let's keep an eye on this. If the risk level goes up, then there's going to be concern for, what do you do if there's severe weather hitting you when you're sleeping, and you'll need to be alerted. So make sure your weather radio is in good working order, that you have good fresh batteries in it. Make sure that your phone apps are in good working order, if that's what you rely on to get alerted for severe weather, because you might just need it again on Friday.
Perfect. Good reminder as always. We're going to dump you back over to the Carolina Weather Net, which does happen to show your full detailed forecast at 25 and 55 past every hour. So in just moments, as you rejoin regular scheduled programming on the Carolina Weather Net, you'll continue to hear the voice of Frank Straight as we go into our detailed forecast at 11:55, and then we will begin a new broadcast day. But gentlemen, pleasure as always hanging out with you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a lot
Absolutely.
of
It's
fun.
always fun to geek out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you all for geeking out with us.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. We couldn't do it without you. We're here for you. Glad to be spending this evening with you. Now I'm going to go
In the kitchen.
get to bed.